How much does it cost to go from a K-pop idol to a luxury fashion icon?
Not that much, just a tiny bit of LVMH.
LVMH is this French luxury group that owns most of the luxury brands in the market.
LVMH is comprised of 70 different brands divided into 6 different sectors. It covers everything.
If Hetty is the guy that got Lisa through the door, then this guy can give her the empire. Meet Frederick. He became the CEO of Tag Heuer when he was just 25, and you can probably tell by his distinctive forehead. Frederick is the son of Bernard Arnault,
a figure that has been transforming the luxury sector since the beginning of the 90s.
People who don't know him have a completely different idea of the people who know him.
To me, Bernard is an artist, and what he's done is incredible.
He's always thinking about the future.
Bernard Arnault is the architect that brought them all together under one house.
But he didn't inherit any of this. It all began in 1984 when the 34-year-old Arnault bought a bankrupt textile group that happened to own
Christian Dior, and immediately I thought this brand has a lot of potential. It is evaluated. It is small compared to what I thought the world was going to become, and so I moved to buy it.
And then used Dior as the cornerstone to gain control of LVMH.
That was just the beginning.
I remember people telling me it does not make sense to put together so many brands.
But nothing could stop this guy. Today, he is the richest man in the world.
So how did he make it?
And his wealth was accomplished in a single generation.
What makes LVMH so much better than everyone else?
There aren't very many people in the world who can do what he's done.
And why is no one copying their playbook?
Every competitor is trying to imitate. I think they are not successful, but they try.
After spending days digging through the reports, studying interviews or whatever I can find on the internet, I was about to vomit. They just keep repeating the same things over and over again. Decentralized organization, centralized resources, vertical integration, innovation, creativity, and quality. Damn, this is ugly. But then I figured this is going nowhere. Because if I change the logo here to another luxury group, it still works.
And you know what that means? It means that is not their secret sauce.
He is exactly the opposite what people think he is.
What if the opposite is true? What if whatever he said
Creativity, innovation, and quality
is a given, is not the secret sauce, but the opposite of this?
We don't do marketing.
That's what makes the difference.
But it was a lot harder to dig on their marketing. I honestly couldn't find anything useful in their reports, nothing from his interviews,
until I traced it all the way back to this one interview. He was way more open back in the days than now.
The LVMH process only has one goal: star brands. And you need 4 things to be a star brand: timeless, modern, fast-growing, and highly profitable. Of these 4, growth is a function of high desire.
Desire. So the most important word in our business is desire. How to create desire.
But getting advertising right is very, very difficult. Showing a picture of the product is not enough. The model needs to project the image of the brand even without the logo. And Dior was the perfect example.
And that's when I know, for me to crack the code, I have to start from Lisa.
If you go through her history with LVMH, one thing stands out. She's always represented 2 brands at the same time, one in fashion, one in jewelry. Maybe this is a pattern, so I decided to map out more ambassadors from their core brands. And you could immediately tell the group clearly concentrates resources on their star brands, Louis Vuitton and Dior. But what's more fascinating is when I start to see overlapping ambassadors. I then highlighted pretty much all of them. And wow, they've got a lot more overlaps than I imagined. Especially with newer, smaller brands like Tiffany and Rimowa, most ambassadors are anchored to a larger brand like Louis Vuitton or Dior. It helps younger brands get top-tier ambassadors.
But more importantly, it's a scale play.
Here, they can put more money on the table than a single brand deal to help lock in top-tier stars. And if we use the 80-20 principle, 20% or less of the stars are considered top-tier stars, and they're the ones that command the majority of the fans. So conceptually, instead of spreading stars evenly across brands, it's actually more effective to concentrate on using top stars for multiple brands that kinda look like this. This way, fans of someone like Federer aren't exposed to one but three brands at the same time from LVMH.
So then they have all their leading stars acting as a core, reinforcing multiple brands at once like a giant spider net. And none of their rivals could easily copy this simply because of non-compete.
The same ambassadors can't work with two brands in the same category. And most groups don't own as many categories as LVMH.
But here is where it gets even more interesting.
Lisa wasn't just the face of Bugatti. She collaborated with the brand on her limited edition watches twice.
400 hand-cut mother of pearl. It's so elegant.
LVMH, their ambassadors are not just ambassadors.
Take Pharrell Williams. He created a line of products for Tiffany, his own champagne for Moet, and is officially working as Louis Vuitton's creative director. Hello! Then we have Rihanna. She became the group's business partner and launched her own beauty line, Fenty Beauty. The brand didn't just make her a billionaire, it also became a massive growth engine for Sephora. And if you're interested in this topic, you can check out my Sephora video. Portman, on the other hand, became their social advocate, and she's been actively supporting the group's social programs.
And this is what really sets the group apart. They think super long term, and not just with their brands, but also with their ambassadors. So they would invest in their top stars to help them grow, and their growth would then feed it back to strengthen the group's portfolio. So what we have here is a win-win. But then I realized the magic doesn't stop here.
Because when I was scrolling Lisa's Instagram feed, guess what I found?
Lisa is now a Ferrari ambassador. Why Lisa? Out of everyone?
It seems random, but not so much after I mapped everything out. Lisa's Ferrari deal came after these two signed a 10-year partnership together. LVMH then put forward these three brands for the deal, and Lisa is their ambassador and their CEO's girlfriend. Plus, the Ferrari's chief brand officer used to work at Bugatti. That connects Lisa all the way through to Ferrari.
I mean, this is great for Lisa, but what is in it for LVMH? Let's try to think it through again.
LVMH alleviates Lisa's brand image from a K-pop idol to a global luxury icon. Bingo! Making her more valuable to brands like Ferrari. And because Ferrari is the Hermes for cars, signing with them would then grow Lisa's brand equity even further.
So now, her brand equity doesn't go up like this, it goes up like this. This.
Her image upgrade then feeds it right back to give Louis Vuitton and Bugatti a boost.
It's beautiful, isn't it? So now Lisa is pretty much a living billboard.
She makes it a girl's dream to drive a Ferrari, wear a Bugatti watch, and carry a Vuitton.
Bang. Desirability. There.
So the most important word in our business is desire. How to create desire.
But he has never done a deal like this before. If he is willing to bet billions on the table, I'm pretty sure he's eyeing on something much bigger.
To find out what that is, it looks like I've got no choice but to spend some time on Formula One. Turns out, F1 only became very popular in the last few years, hugely driven by
Drive to survive. Drive to survive. Drive to survive.
With Formula One breaking records in Austin, Texas, they tripled down on America and expanded host cities to include two of the United States' most iconic and campy locations, Miami and Las Vegas. Here, money is flamboyant.
But the most critical change is actually the new audience.
F1 successfully captured the Gen Z fans, and 3 in 4 new F1 fans are female. The future customers Arnault is actually chasing here.
Hang on. Based on how much we know Arnault by now, he's definitely doing something. There has to be two birds for one stone. And it looks like Rolex might be the second bird.
Tag Heuer became the official timekeeper as part of the deal. They quietly took Rolex out of the picture.
Let's be honest here, a deal like this would never have happened if Tag Heuer negotiated alone.
Since that happened, the brand reported double-digit store traffic growth and jumped up in rankings. Now Son's happy, Papa is smiling.
But it doesn't matter whether it's the investment in Lisa or F1. Both exposed the biggest weakness, Gen Z. They're struggling with Gen Z customers.
Sales at LVMH's fashion and leather goods division declined in the fourth quarter as the company suffered from sluggish demand.
Bernard Arnault again saying that 2026 is not going to be a very straightforward year.
And because they're not attracting new customers, it's very hard to grow. So their sales have been weaker than expected in the last 2 years, especially in the China market.
Beijing stores we saw earlier recorded its worst annual performance since the global financial crisis.
China is one of the most important markets now.
He visited China in 2023 and again in 2024. And guess what happened after?
He literally parked a giant boat in the middle of downtown Shanghai. Like, what the...
Why is he doing this? What is he really after this time?